What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mo.J and we're locked in. This is the recap for episode 9 of BMF. Yes, we're back here and we haven't sold any dope. Now, there is a death in this episode. I know some people thought it may have been Marisha. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But we're going to jump into this and break this down before we head into the finale. Speaking of the finale, I do have an episode 10 finale trailer breakdown. Go check that out. But before we jump into all of this and break this down, if you like BMF content, theories and predictions, breakdowns, recaps, then hit your subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Make sure you hit that like button and help your boy reach 60,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's the goal that we have, and if we reach it, we do. Let's try to get it. But this is the recap for episode 9 of BMF, and well, Marisha's still alive, guys. I know that's what you want to hear, but she's still alive. This is the recap for. We start the episode off with a flashback, and of course we in Mexico. Loco pushing the whip. Terry and Meech are wondering why we've been driving for 3 hours straight, and out of nowhere, pop, 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 and they started getting shot at. So it looks like this is a loop from what we seen in episode 1 when they were in the shootout, because the federales are on them. Now the federales, they shooting. Meech, he got that AK. He letting that thing chop, pop, 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 pop. Terry, he got the M16. Bang, 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 bang. Neither one of them are reloading. But while they're doing this, they're talking to each other casually. See, Terry, this is all because you let that kid go. Loco's driving. They got to push out the other guy, and they hitting it. They on the move. The federales are not playing. Back in the present time in Atlanta, Meech and Terry are having their daily argument, and they're trying to figure out where the hell Laz is. Now, we know Laz is laid out on the street with one in the dome because of B. Mickey. The snitches linked up, and Terry is like, dog, Laz is snitching. Meech is saying, nah, man, he ain't snitching. He just gone. And then old girl runs down the stairs. Man, they done found Laz in the street. Some street dudes said they done found Laz, and his grandmama said they done raided the house, and they took him out in handcuffs. So now Terry's like, I told you. He was snitching. And Meech is like, shut up, Terry. He ain't snitching, man. Tell the grandma I'll pay for it. But Terry was right this time. Meech has really been moving like a degenerate. Meech really hasn't been making the best decisions. And we're looking at Terry. But Terry has his flaws also. Nicole is in the hospital. Her contractions are 15 minutes apart. And you know they don't have any insurance. So they got her sitting out in the lobby talking about waiting for a bed. Miss Lucille is like, help, my baby need help. The the nurse comes out and says, well, y'all need to sit down and wait till your name's called. This hospital has everything going on. There's a man that looked like he got hit in the head with something. This lady got an ice pack on her pelvis area. There's a guy with a cane behind him. This hospital isn't anywhere you want to go. That's why you need to get on that Obamacare, because when you go in here with no insurance, this is what happens. So little Nikki, she's just going to have to tough it out right now. But she's a flinnery, so I'm sure she'll be all right. B. Mickey shows up to Atlanta because he has to get even. Now, this is right after he done took out Laz. He goes up to the crib. He got that stainless on him. But when he gets there, Charles is there. He's like, what's up, B. Mickey? He said, oh, I'm just here to see Meech. And he already knows what's going on because he can see the Thule. And he's like, what are you doing here? He said, oh, I'm just visiting Meech. I told you that. We missed you at the plant, but Charles ain't no dummy. Charles is trying to get his life back on track, and he says, I worked at the plant, so there's no way you're down here in the middle of the week without your wife and kid. You need to go home. B. Mickey said, can I come in the house? He's like, nah, we not even going to do that because we know you on some BS, but get up out of here. So B. Mickey, resilient. They have a BMF meeting at the house. Loco's in there, and they're basically like, look, man, it's all messed up. Laz is taken out. The stash house are hit. Loco wants them to go meet Manuel, the head of the cartel, El Jefe, out in California. And Terry's like, nah, we can't go out there. But Meech is standing on business. He said, we need to go out there. We need to extend the business. If we don't do this, then we might miss this opportunity. So Loco was like, all right, well, Meech, if we're going to go out there, then we're going to go out there. Terry, you rolling? Terry's like, yeah. Terry, he wants to go out to California. He don't want no more trouble out here in Atlanta. Meech ends up getting into it with his girl Lucky because he's like, he got to go stand on business. She wants to be there. And then he goes to the club and he gets Ashley, who tried to save Purdy, who actually killed Purdy. And he ends up knocking her down. So we all over the place while we in Atlanta. But we about to head out to Cali. Brian and the Red Dogs, they're going over surveillance because they seen Laz's body and they're trying to connect the dots. Well, after they go and get the Platinum Palace security footage, they start to notice that Laz got in a vehicle with somebody and they run the plates. But when they look at it, Brian notices that Brian, aka B Mickey, is the one that did it. So he's like, wait a minute, B Mickey's down here? So now they're starting to put two and two together, and it don't equal 7. I think it equals 4 or 5, one of those numbers. But they're like, you know what? Put an APV out on those plates, and we're gonna go hunt down B Mickey. Because if B Mickey's down here, he could be setting up Meech and Terry, or he could be working with Meech and Terry. But at least Brian has a lead. I'm going back to Cali, where the boys, they make it out there. Meech and Terry and Mao, they riding around, they looking like, man, it's beautiful. But he's giving them a lay of the land, and you got to learn about those colors. Now, I didn't live in Southern California. I lived in the Bay. So the Bay's a little bit different, but it still gets crazy out there. But everybody loves green. It don't matter where you're from, they all love green. So they're riding around, they see the Hollywood signs, but they're actually here to meet up with Manuel. So when they get down to the district, they go out there and they seeing real money. And Manuel's like, oh, you too? Y'all really getting money like that? Well, let's set up a meeting for tomorrow. Now, Manuel got a baddie with him. And Meech, he's looking, but Terry's like, chill out, bro. Chill out, Meech. You know how you can get. We know Meech likes to kiss everybody. So now they got a meeting, and they're going to take it another step further. But they got a marijuana and a cocaine connect. Little Nikki's contractions go down to 5 minutes, and they finally get her in bed after about 36 hours of waiting in the lobby. She's in there, and she's like, where's Meech and Terry? Where's Dad? Well, they're talking about, oh man, we might have a problem, the umbilical cord. So it looks like the baby might not be able to breathe because the umbilical cord was wrapped around. But she ends up delivering the baby, and she's like, Mom, the baby's not crying. She's like, oh Lord, please help the baby. But then they actually save the baby, and little Dimitri starts crying. So she names the baby after Demetrius. After, so our boy Meech. So we got Big Meech, and we got Little Meech, and we got the other Little Meech. Meech and Terry are getting the whole rollout. I'm talking about the red carpet. They go to Magic Johnson's all-star game that he's having. Everybody's showing up, and this ran from 95 to 2005. We seen Queen Latifah in the background, but the most important thing is the after party. But one thing we know about Meech, when he goes to a party, he's gonna have a bottle and he's gonna hit somebody over the head. Well, Maui, he's a Carib, and they into it with the blood. So they get into it with each other, and we see Meech come out with a champagne bottle. Terry ain't doing no fighting. He just watches. So they all in there scrapping, Bloods versus Crips. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's going down. But they end up breaking it up. And I know Magic Johnson, like, you can't bring these niggas to nothing. B Mickey's wife is in Detroit just chilling with the baby V. She's out having a good time. The little girl's on the merry-go-round. She's on the swing. She's on the slides. Just having a good old time. You know how it was in the 90s. We were outside all day. Now, the mom ain't paying too much attention. She talking to her homegirl, talking about, girl. And then she, wait a minute. Hold on, girl. She looks. V, where are you? V done ran off, we think. V's nowhere to be found. Hey, have y'all seen my daughter? No one knows where V is. The police show up, and she's just giving a description of what her child had, but she wasn't paying attention. And you can't take your eyes off of a kid for 1 second, or they'll wind up missing. Well, she's gone right now. Brian and the Red Dogs have been looking for B Mickey, and they finally stumble across this bucket because of the license plates. They like, well, let's just say somebody told us that they seen B Mickey go in there. They kick in the door and they search in the room and they don't find anything. Brian is upset because he was this close to capturing him. Well, he hears a little bit of rattling, and inside the air conditioning unit, if you ever stayed into a motel, you know these little air conditioning units that are built into the wall right by the front door. B Mickey put the gun in there. They find the gun and they like, this is going to be great evidence to turn in for the last murder. B Mickey ends up showing up and seeing them inside, and B Mickey just runs off because he ain't trying to go back to jail. Hell, I ain't trying to go to jail. Well, it turns out Lamar actually kidnapped B Mickey's daughter V, and now he goes to B Mickey's apartment. B Mickey's wife is in there trying to call around. Hello, have you seen my daughter? And then Lamar shows up. She said, what are you doing here? He said, where's B Mickey at? She said, what did you do? What did you do with my daughter? He said, I ain't hurt her, but where's her daddy? I need to know where he's at. She's like, I don't know where he's at. Little does she know, Lamar ain't no dummy, and Lamar ain't giving up. You can't just tell Lamar I don't know when he leaves. Well, Lamar picks up the phone and he puts redial. Motel 6 where we leave the light on. Yeah, I need you guys' address. So now he found out that B Mickey is down in Atlanta, and he tells her, I have your daughter. Yeah, I got her, but I need to be Mickey before you can get her back. Meech goes and meets up with the Bloods. They out on Slauson. He gets there and they out there hooping. And like, what you doing here, sucker? Meech is like, look, man, I know y'all do the colors out here and everything, but we getting money and our favorite color is green. So let's squash all the beef. But they like, hell no, nah, we getting money out here. Meech said, well, I got that pure white girl. What y'all want? Y'all want in or y'all gonna get lapped up? So the Bloods, they thinking about it, man. You run with them Crips, but if you really getting money like that, maybe we can put that red and blue to the side and make purple. Now, I'm not sure how to make green, but if we put the red and blue together, I think purple, we can squeeze out some green. So Meech single-handedly went out here to Los Angeles and squashed the beef between the Bloods and the Crips so they can put blue and red to the side, get the white, and make the green. Little Nikki ends up having the baby. Breeze is in there. Everything is all right. Fairy tale ending. Charles and Lucille come in here. She's like, oh, baby Demetrius. They're like, oh, he's so adorable. And then, well, Nicole breaks the news to Lucille. Her and Breeze, they moving out. They getting their own place together. They want to start their own family. They don't want to live with Miss Lucille. And Lucille's like, you need help with the baby. Lucille, you on welfare. Let me get it straight. She on welfare. You can't help take care of all these people. And then you can't have Breeze living in there because that's a man living in that house. So no, she can't stay there. And Lucille is irate. She storms out of there. And Charles is like, well, that's her decision. But yeah, she don't want to live there. You yelling at him all the time. Loco gets a call from Meech. And Meech is like, hey, did you handle everything with the cartel? Just talking freely over the phone. But they don't believe that any taps are on him, even though they know that Brian is potentially looking for him. But Loco is like, nah, not all the way. Not completely yet. But we're going to get this thing taken care of. And Meech is like, well, guess what? We meeting up with Manuel today. We going to get that pipeline going. And I squashed the beef between the Bloods and the Crips. So that means money is going to move freely. I'm talking about flowing. More money than we've ever seen. Loco is like, good. He puffing on that cigar. He goes over to his car because he getting ready to head out. He in MIA, he in Miami. But as soon as he puts that key in the ignition and tries to start it, but boom! Yeah, R.I.P. to Loco. Marquisha is being Marquisha, just running her mouth. Now she's out here with Kiki, and she's like, yeah, girl, I ain't with Boom no more. She said, you ain't with Boom no more? She said, nah, Boom is immature. He's still young. I'm with Terry, and I got a new connect. So Kiki is just sitting here like, damn, girl, you telling me all your information. And we already dislike Marquisha. But Marquisha's like, yeah, I know Terry's young, but Boom is still very, very young. And me and Terry, we just got a good thing going on, and I'm really trying to cut Boom out. Whole time Kiki's just listening to it, and she's like, oh, okay, taking notes, mental notes, but notes nonetheless. Meech and Terry go over to Manuel's. Manuel's crib, larger than life, very, very lavish. I'm looking at it like, well, you know, I might need to get in the game, but I don't want to. It's too late for me. I ain't got that kind of leg, you know what I'm saying, no stamina. But they sitting here and they talking about it. Manuel's like, you guys are pretty good. They're like, yeah, Loco taught us everything. Oh yeah, about Loco. Loco's gone, R.I.P. They're like, oh no, he taught us everything. So now he's like, well, I know you guys got some hiccups in Atlanta, so we're not gonna send no dope to Atlanta. It's only gonna be here in California. Now, Manuel's girl is in the pool and she's looking at them, and Terry already told Meech not to mess with her, but it looks like she was looking at Terry. Terry tells Manuel, look, if we gonna make this transaction happen, I need to be in on everything. And you know Meech don't want Terry to be involved in everything, but Terry's like, hell no, I need to know. So right now, Manuel's like, look, all right, you ended the little beef between the Bloods and the Crips. We can make something happen, but not in Atlanta, just in LA. Marquisha was running her mouth to Kiki, and she's driving home, had a couple of drinks, so we don't know if she's in, you know what I'm saying, inebriated or what. But she riding home, and out of nowhere, we just see a head like, boom! Yeah, kind of ironic that she gets hit by a car and a big boom happens. Boom hops out the car. Boom goes over there. He's all bloody. She's like, call the ambulance, Boom. I didn't do nothing. Please help me. Boom, like, you still fucking with Terry? I've been kicking it with Kiki, and she's loyal. She told me everything. So while Marquisha was running her big ass mouth, she was telling Kiki everything, and Kiki was telling Boom, you can't tell your business to nobody. I mean, nobody. But the police are coming, and Boom is basically like, I'm done with you, Marquisha. And he leaves. I guess the police come and save her. But Boom, I don't blame you. Meech and Terry get in one last good argument for the episode. They're both going at it with each other since they have been doing this since season 1. But they're both talking about who brought in snitches. B. Mickey came in because of Terry. Laz came in because of Meech. So both of them brought in snitches. Meech should have just took out B. Mickey way back when, and we wouldn't have had none of these problems. But he calls and he talking to Charles. Charles is like, yeah, Nicole had the baby, and that's how they found out about B. Mickey. So right now, it's all over the place. Meech is like, man, we need to keep expanding the business. Terry's like, man, no, we need to lay low. And Meech is like, listen, Terry, you either with me or you against me. And that goes for everybody because they're losing soldiers. They lost the stash houses. They can't go back to Atlanta and open up shop because the pipeline is only in California. So it's all over the place. And these two brothers got to get on the same page or they aren't going to get anywhere at all. The last thing we see is Lamar showing B. Mickey's wife, here's your daughter V, and she got the little dog in the back of the hearse. What does the dog say? Woof, woof. She's over here crying. He's like, listen, once I get B. Mickey, I told you I won't hurt the little girl. I'll let you and the girl go, but I need to get to B. Mickey. Now, B. Mickey's in Atlanta. They're in Detroit. Kansas City to Atlanta is a 12-hour ride. Detroit to Atlanta's probably got to be at least 10 to 12 hours also. So he ties her up with a zip tie, puts her in the back of the hearse, and he drives. And he says, my mama used to sing to me while I was on this road. And he was singing some song that I ain't never sang before. I heard it, but I ain't never sang it before. And Lamar, he puts that hearse in cruise control, and they hitting 55 all the way down to Atlanta. But he's looking for revenge. All right, there you go. The recap for episode 9 of BMF. Let me know what you think about this. Is Lamar making the right decision to try to go down there and get B. Mickey? And if you were Terry, would you stay in California or go back to Detroit and try to patch things up? Because Marquise is out of commission. You got your kids there. Me personally, I'll probably just stay out here in California. It never rains in Southern California, they say. And I don't like the rain because I can't stand the rain. But let me know what you think. I'm Modai J. This is the recap for episode 9 of BMF. I do have the breakdown of the trailer for the season finale on the channel also. It should be the video that you see at the end of this, so you can just click on that. But hit that subscribe button to help me get to 60,000 subscribers. Turn on your notification bell. Hit that like button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.